My child, stop scrolling for a moment because heaven just shifted something in your favor. What blocked you yesterday no longer has authority today. I moved it with my hand. You think you found this message randomly, but no, before this night even began, before your thoughts became heavy with worry, before fear tried to convince you that nothing would ever change, I've already prepared this exact moment for you. I brought you here because there is something urgent I need your spirit to hear. Do not rush away from these words. Do not treat this like another ordinary message passing through your day. What is happening right now is spiritual. Something moved in the unseen realm concerning your life, and if you listen closely, your soul already feels it. For a long time you have been fighting battles you could not fully explain. You kept asking why things remained delayed, why opportunities slip away, why doors kept closing, why progress always seemed just out of reach no matter how hard you tried. You cried in secret, wondering if I still remembered your prayers. You smiled around people while privately carrying exhaustion so heavy that some nights you barely had strength left to continue. I saw all of it, my beloved child. I saw the disappointment you hid behind your silence. I saw the fear growing quietly inside your thoughts every time another delay happened. I saw the moments when hopelessness whispered to your spirit that maybe nothing would ever truly change for you. But listen carefully tonight. The delays were not always rejection. Many of the things resisting your life were spiritual battles you could not see with natural eyes. There were forces fighting against your peace, against your focus, against your destiny, against your relationship with me. There were moments when darkness tried to close doors permanently that I had already planned to open in your future. There were attacks sent to exhaust your faith until you stopped believing that breakthrough was even possible anymore. The enemy wanted you tired. He wanted you numb. He wanted you distracted long enough to miss the moment when heaven finally moved on your behalf. But tonight something shifted. What resisted you has begun losing its power. What delayed you is no longer standing with the same authority against your life. What tried to bury your future beneath fear and confusion has been confronted by my hand. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is not positive thinking or human effort finally working in your favor. This is me moving in places your eyes cannot yet fully see. This is my hand rearranging what was hidden. This is my voice commanding things to move that once stood blocking your path. You have prayed for breakthrough, but you did not realize how much movement was already happening behind the scenes. While you cried, I listened. While you waited, I worked. While you questioned whether I was silent, I was already moving pieces into place for a moment your spirit is now stepping into. Heaven has not forgotten you, my child. I know there were days when it felt like everyone else moved forward while you remained trapped in the same battles. I know comparison wounded your heart sometimes. I know you questioned why life felt easier for others while your soul felt constantly exhausted. But your story was never abandoned. Your destiny was never canceled. Your purpose was never removed from my hands. And now I need you to understand why this moment matters so much. The door opening before you now is not like the opportunities from your past. This one carries spiritual weight. This one was opened directly by my hand. This one arrived after battles you never fully saw, after prayers you thought went unheard, after nights where your faith almost disappeared completely. That is why the enemy fought your mind so hard recently. That is why fear intensified. That is why discouragement followed you so heavily. Darkness recognized before you did that your season was beginning to shift. My beloved child, many people pray for open doors but become afraid once the door finally appears. They ask me for change but panic when movement actually begins. They ask me for freedom but resist the process required to walk into it. You not become one of those people now. I did not move heaven and earth around your life for you to stand still in fear when the answer finally arrives before you. This is your moment to move. Not later. Not after endless overthinking. Not after fear finally disappears. Move now while grace is pulling you forward. You have spent too much time trapped between faith and hesitation. One moment believing I still had purpose for your life, the next moment doubting whether you were truly worthy of breakthrough at all. But hear me clearly tonight. Your worthiness was never the reason the door opened. My mercy opened it. My love opened it. My hand opened it. And what I open with my authority cannot be blocked by human opinion, by spiritual resistance, or by the mistakes from your past. Still, I must warn you lovingly now. Doors from heaven do not remain open forever. Seasons change. Opportunities pass. Moments of grace require response. The enemy knows this, which is why he keeps whispering hesitation into your mind. He wants you analyzing the door until the moment disappears. He wants you trapped in fear while destiny stands directly in front of you waiting for obedience. He wants you questioning yourself until the opportunity passes quietly by. But tonight I am exposing his strategy because I refuse to let fear steal what heaven already released over your life. Do not stall now, my child. Comment this message was perfectly for me if you know God just spoke into your life. I know you are afraid of disappointment. I know past pain made trust difficult. I know previous closed doors wounded your confidence deeply. Some opportunities collapsed unexpectedly. Some relationships betrayed you. Some dreams broke apart while you stood there confused, wondering why life kept hurting your spirit so deeply. And because of those experiences, part of you became cautious about believing again. Part of you became afraid to hope too strongly again because disappointment once left scars on your heart. But this door is different. This movement is different. This shift carries my hand on it. The enemy tried to convince you that your story would always remain stuck in delay, but he did not know I was already preparing a moment where everything would begin shifting suddenly. He did not know I would personally intervene. He did not know I would silence what kept speaking against your peace. He did not know I would command barriers to move that human strength alone could never move. And now heaven is calling your spirit forward before hesitation steals another season from your life. There are things waiting beyond this door that your current environment cannot give you. Healing waits there. Clarity waits there. Freedom waits there. Peace waits there. Spiritual awakening waits there. But you cannot receive what lies ahead while remaining emotionally chained to the fears behind you. That is why I am calling you out of hesitation tonight. Fear has kept you standing still long enough. Doubt has stolen enough time already. Confusion has drained enough strength from your spirit already. Now I am telling you directly. Walk through. Walk through before overthinking talks you out of obedience. Walk through before distractions pull your attention away again. Walk through before fear convinces you to stay trapped in what feels familiar but no longer carries life for your spirit. My beloved child, something sacred is happening around your life right now. The atmosphere is shifting. Chains are loosening. Doors are moving. Spiritual resistance is weakening. And deep inside yourself, you already feel it. That restless stirring in your chest is not imagination. That urgency rising inside your spirit is not random emotion. It is my spirit calling you into movement while the door remains open. Do not underestimate this moment. You asked me for breakthrough, and breakthrough requires movement. You asked me for freedom, and freedom requires trust. You asked me for open doors, and now the door stands before you waiting for your response. But I will not drag you through it against your will. Love does not force obedience. Love invites. Love warns. Love reaches out one more time and says, "Come forward while the door remains open." That is what I am doing for you tonight. I am standing before your life saying, this is the last door I am opening for you in this season. Walk through it before fear steals what my hand has prepared. Walk through it before hesitation turns into regret. Walk through it before the moment seals itself shut. Because this is not luck. This is my hand. And heaven is waiting to see whether you will finally move. My beloved child, before you can fully understand the door I am opening for you now, you must first understand what was standing against you all this time. For years you blamed yourself for every delay. You blamed yourself for every closed opportunity, every broken relationship, every season where progress seemed impossible no matter how hard you tried. You questioned your worth. You questioned your future. Sometimes you even questioned whether I was truly with you at all. But tonight I need you to hear me carefully. Not every battle in your life was natural. There were spiritual forces resisting your peace, resisting your focus, resisting your healing, and resisting the destiny I placed over your life before you were even born. You felt it, didn't you? That strange heaviness that would appear without warning. That exhaustion that sleep could not fully fix. That frustration of trying to move forward while something invisible always seemed to pull you backward again. You tried to explain it logically. You tried convincing yourself you were simply overthinking, simply weak, simply emotional. But my child, some of the battles surrounding your life were deeper than human understanding. The enemy recognized something valuable inside you long before you recognized it yourself. Darkness attacks purpose. Darkness fights what carries destiny. And whether you fully realized it or not, your spirit carried something heaven intended to use powerfully. That is why confusion kept surrounding your thoughts. That is why fear kept returning whenever you came close to growth. That is why discouragement followed you so intensely after moments when your faith started becoming stronger. The enemy wanted your spirit exhausted. He wanted you distracted long enough to miss the assignments heaven prepared for your future. He wanted your confidence destroyed before the right doors finally opened. He wanted you so emotionally drained that when breakthrough arrived, you would no longer have strength left to walk toward it. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. I saw every hidden attack against your mind, my beloved child. I saw the nights when anxiety wrapped itself around your thoughts until breathing itself felt difficult. I saw the mornings when you woke up already tired before the day even began. I saw the moments when hopelessness whispered that your life would never truly change. I saw the emotional warfare nobody else understood, because outwardly you still appeared strong while inwardly your spirit was fighting battles silently. There were moments when you cried alone because you did not know how to explain the heaviness you carried. Moments when you questioned why life felt so difficult for you while others seemed to move forward easily. Moments when you secretly wondered if maybe you were simply destined to stay trapped in cycles of delay and disappointment forever. But hear me now, that was never your destiny. The delays were not proof that I abandoned you. The resistance was proof that something valuable was hidden inside your future. The enemy does not fight empty lives this intensely. He fights people carrying purpose. He fights people whose obedience could break generational chains. He fights people whose healing could inspire others to return to me. He fights people whose awakening could expose darkness hiding around them. And my beloved child, your life carried more spiritual significance than you realized. That is why the attacks became personal. That is why the battles felt relentless. That is why discouragement kept returning every time you started hoping again. I saw the betrayal that wounded your heart deeply. I saw how certain people entered your life carrying hidden motives while pretending to love you sincerely. I saw the disappointment that shattered your trust. I saw how rejection slowly made you question your value. The enemy used people at times to weaken your confidence because he knew wounded hearts often stop believing they deserve good things from heaven anymore. But those betrayals did not cancel your destiny. Those wounds did not remove my hand from your future. If anything, I remained even closer to you during those painful seasons while you cried out silently for understanding. You asked me many times why certain doors closed unexpectedly. You asked why relationships collapsed, why opportunities disappeared, why progress slowed down whenever you felt close to breakthrough. My child, there were moments when I closed doors to protect your future from destruction you could not yet see clearly. There were environments draining your spirit slowly while you tried desperately to remain inside them. There were people smiling in front of you while quietly speaking death over your confidence behind your back. There were paths that looked attractive outwardly but carried spiritual emptiness waiting at the end of them. And because I love you deeply, I blocked certain things even while you cried over losing them. You thought the closed doors meant rejection, but often they were rescue. You thought the delays meant abandonment, but often they were protection. You thought the silence meant I stopped listening, but all along I was fighting battles for you in places your eyes could not yet fully see. My beloved child, the enemy tried repeatedly to make you quit. He tried convincing you that your prayers were pointless. He tried convincing you that change would never happen. He tried burying your spirit beneath disappointment so deeply that you would stop expecting anything good from me anymore. Some nights you came dangerously close to surrendering completely to hopelessness. Some moments became so emotionally heavy that even continuing forward one more day felt exhausting. But every time darkness attempted to fully crush your spirit, my hand remained over your life, protecting what the enemy could not destroy. You survived more than people around you realize. You survived emotional battles that nearly consumed your peace. You survived seasons where loneliness wrapped around your spirit heavily. You survived moments where your faith became weak and fragile. And despite everything, you are still here tonight listening to my voice. That alone should remind you that darkness failed to destroy your destiny. The enemy attacked your confidence because he feared your future. He attacked your mind because he feared your awakening. He attacked your peace because he feared what would happen if your spirit finally became free. But tonight I am exposing what stood against you, because hidden warfare loses power once light reveals it clearly. The confusion was not random. The fear was not random. The heaviness was not random. There were spiritual battles connected to your calling. And now heaven has stepped directly into the situation surrounding your life. Something changed in the unseen realm concerning you. What resisted you is weakening. What blocked you is being moved. What spoke against your progress is being silenced. And that is why your spirit suddenly feels this unusual stirring tonight. My beloved child, I need you to stop blaming yourself for every delay now. Yes, there were moments when your own fear slowed you down. Yes, there were moments when compromise distracted your focus. But many battles surrounding your life were larger than what your natural understanding could fully explain. You were fighting against resistance you could not physically see. Yet despite that resistance, my hand never left you. There were times when I protected you from complete destruction without you even realizing it. Some decisions you almost made would have damaged your future deeply. Some people you trusted would have broken your spirit more severely if I had not intervened quietly behind the scenes. Some attacks sent against your mind would have completely crushed your hope if my mercy had not covered you during those nights of weakness. You thought you were surviving alone, but heaven remained active around your life every single day. I know the waiting exhausted you. I know repeated disappointment made hope difficult sometimes. I know there were moments when you became tired of praying because nothing seemed to change quickly enough. But my beloved child, while you waited emotionally, I was working spiritually. While you cried over delays, I was preventing destruction. While you questioned whether breakthrough would ever arrive, I was already preparing a moment where everything would begin shifting suddenly. And now that moment is beginning. That is why I brought you here tonight before the next door opens fully. You needed to understand first that your struggles were not proof of abandonment. Your battles were proof that your life carried purpose worth fighting over. Your delays were not evidence that heaven forgot you. Your resistance was evidence that darkness recognized your potential before you did. But now the season is shifting. The chains surrounding your mind are weakening. The confusion clouding your spirit is breaking. The resistance delaying your movement is losing authority. Because I, your God, have stepped into the battle personally. And what I touch with my hand can never remain the same again. My beloved child, there were battles in your life that your human strength alone could never win. You tried so hard to fix things by yourself. You tried forcing doors open. You tried carrying burdens alone. You tried fighting emotional battles inside your own mind until exhaustion became part of your daily existence. But there are some chains too heavy for human hands to break. There are some spiritual walls too strong for human effort to move. There are some battles that only my power can handle. And tonight I need you to understand this deeply. While you were crying, waiting, doubting, and struggling to hold yourself together, I was already moving things behind the scenes that your eyes could not yet see. You thought silence meant nothing was happening, but heaven was active around your life the entire time. I was watching every obstacle standing in your way. I was watching the spiritual resistance trying to delay your breakthrough. I was watching the hidden attacks designed to keep your spirit trapped in confusion, fear, discouragement, and emotional exhaustion. And there came a moment when I stepped directly into the battle surrounding your future and declared, "Enough." You could not see it, but chains began breaking. You could not hear it, but commands were released in the unseen realm concerning your life. You could not fully understand it, but movements began happening around your destiny that darkness could no longer stop. My beloved child, this is why your spirit suddenly feels different lately. This is why the atmosphere around your life feels heavier but also strangely expectant at the same time. This is why certain old struggles are beginning to lose their grip over your thoughts. Something shifted because I moved what you could not move yourself. For years you carried frustration over things remaining stuck. You asked why progress always felt delayed. Why peace always felt temporary. Why doors kept opening slightly only to close again before breakthrough fully arrived. But I need you to understand something important tonight. Some of those delays existed because spiritual resistance surrounded your movement. There were voices speaking against your confidence. There were hidden battles connected to your calling. There were unseen forces trying to wear your spirit down until you stopped expecting change completely. The enemy hoped exhaustion would make you surrender. He hoped disappointment would weaken your faith. He hoped repeated delays would convince you that your prayers no longer mattered. Say, I give you my whole heart forever, Lord, if He's the only one your soul desires. But he underestimated my mercy over your life. He underestimated my plans for your future. And most importantly, he underestimated the moment when I would personally intervene on your behalf. My beloved child, I silenced things you did not even know were speaking against you. I blocked attacks before they fully reached your life. I protected your mind during moments when darkness tried to completely consume your peace. There were nights when your spirit felt strangely restless because spiritual warfare surrounded you heavily. Yet even then my hand remained over your life, keeping destruction from going farther than I allowed. You think you survived because you became strong enough, but the truth is deeper than that. You survived because I refused to let darkness fully destroy what belongs to me. Even when your faith became weak, my protection remained strong. Even when your prayers became exhausted whispers, heaven still listened carefully. Even when you nearly gave up emotionally, I continued fighting for your future in ways your natural understanding could not fully grasp. And now something is changing. What once resisted you is beginning to lose its authority. What once blocked your movement is beginning to shift out of the way. What once kept you emotionally trapped is beginning to weaken. This is not imagination, my child. This is not temporary emotion. This is the result of heaven moving in your situation. I know there were times when you begged me to remove certain pain immediately. You wanted instant answers, instant healing, instant movement. But many of the things surrounding your life required spiritual timing. If I had opened certain doors too early, you would have entered battles unprepared emotionally and spiritually. If I had removed every obstacle immediately, you would never have learned how deeply you needed my strength instead of your own. The waiting season hurt you, yes, but it also refined you. It exposed where your trust truly rested. It revealed how much fear still controlled parts of your heart. And through every painful lesson, I was slowly preparing you for the moment now approaching your life. You must understand something carefully tonight. What I am opening for you now did not happen casually. There was warfare surrounding this breakthrough. There were forces resisting your healing, resisting your peace, resisting your growth, resisting your next season. But my authority is greater than every force standing against your life. And when I decide it is time for movement, darkness cannot permanently block what my hand has already ordained. That is why certain things around your life suddenly feel unstable right now. Some relationships feel different. Some environments no longer feel comfortable. Some habits no longer satisfy your spirit the way they once did. Do you know why? Because once heaven shifts something, your soul can no longer remain peacefully attached to what was keeping you spiritually trapped before. I am pulling you forward, my beloved child. But forward movement always requires separation from old chains. That is why some people may walk away from your life in this season. That is why certain distractions are beginning to lose their hold over your attention. That is why your spirit feels restless whenever you try returning fully to old patterns. I am removing what cannot follow you into the next season I prepared for you. And although part of you still fears change, another part of your spirit already knows this movement is necessary. My beloved child, I fought battles for you that you never fully saw. There were conversations held in darkness concerning your life that I silenced. There were attacks formed against your future that I blocked before they reached you completely. There were moments when your emotional exhaustion should have completely broken your spirit, yet somehow you kept surviving because my hand remained covering you even while you struggled to recognize it. The enemy wanted you isolated because isolation weakens people spiritually. He wanted your thoughts consumed with fear because fear paralyzes movement. He wanted you emotionally drained because exhausted people rarely walk boldly through open doors. But tonight I am exposing every lie that tried convincing you that you were abandoned. You were never abandoned. You were fought over. You were protected. You were covered by mercy even during your weakest moments. And now heaven is beginning to reveal openly what was already shifting secretly behind the scenes. My beloved child, this next season will require courage from you. Not because I will abandon you to fight alone, but because movement always frightens people who became comfortable surviving in limitation. Part of you became so used to disappointment that breakthrough itself now feels unfamiliar. Part of you became so used to closed doors that walking through an open one suddenly feels overwhelming. But hear me carefully tonight. I did not move heaven around your life for you to remain trapped in fear when the answer finally arrives. I need you to trust me now more than ever before. Trust that what I removed needed to move. Trust that what I blocked needed to close. Trust that what I am opening now carries my hand on it. Trust that what shifted spiritually was not temporary emotion but divine intervention. You asked me to fight for you, and I did. You asked me to make a way, and I am. You asked me to move mountains standing before your life, and now those mountains are beginning to shift. But breakthrough still requires response. Freedom still requires movement. Open doors still require obedience. Do not freeze now that the battle is shifting in your favor. Do not allow fear to keep you standing outside what heaven already prepared. Do not overthink yourself back into the prison I am trying to lead you out of. The enemy fears your movement now because he knows something powerful happens once wounded souls finally realize my hand is still over their lives. And tonight, my beloved child, I need you to realize it fully. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is not human effort suddenly succeeding after years of struggle. This is my hand moving what you could never move alone. This is me silencing what resisted your future. This is me stepping into battles you cried over privately. This is me answering prayers you thought heaven forgot. And because I move it, the atmosphere around your destiny is beginning to change forever. My beloved child, listen to me carefully now because what I am about to tell you carries deep urgency for your spirit. The door standing before you in this season is not like the other opportunities that came and went throughout your life. This door is different because I opened it personally with my own hand after battles you could not see and prayers you thought went unanswered. This is not an ordinary moment. This is not random timing. Heaven arranged this opening specifically for you after seasons of warfare, delay, heartbreak, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. And because this door carries my hand upon it, the enemy has become terrified that you might finally walk through it. For years you stood outside opportunities doubting yourself. Fear convinced you that you were not ready. Pain convinced you that disappointment would happen again. Delay convinced you that nothing would ever truly change. And slowly, without realizing it, hesitation became comfortable for you. You learned how to stand still while secretly longing for movement. You learned how to survive in limitation while pretending you no longer desired more. But my beloved child, I did not create you to remain trapped in the same cycles forever. I created you for movement. I created you for growth. I created you to walk into the things heaven prepared for your life long before fear ever entered your thoughts. This is why the atmosphere around you feels different right now. Your spirit senses that something serious is happening. Part of you feels hope rising again, while another part of you feels afraid because open doors require decisions. Closed doors allow people to remain comfortable in excuses, but open doors demand movement. And movement frightens wounded hearts because movement requires trust again. I know why you hesitate. I know disappointment left scars on your confidence. I know previous opportunities collapsed unexpectedly and made you question your own discernment. Some doors opened in the past only to bring pain instead of peace. Some people promised loyalty only to betray you later. Some dreams looked promising before falling apart in your hands. And because of those experiences, fear slowly taught your spirit to expect heartbreak instead of breakthrough. But hear me clearly tonight. This door is not being opened by human promises. This door is being opened by me. When human beings open doors, they can close unexpectedly. When emotions open doors, confusion eventually follows. But when I open a door, no force from darkness can permanently stop what I have already decided to release over your life. Still, I must warn you lovingly now, my beloved child. Although this door carries my hand on it, you must understand that heaven does not force people to walk through what grace opens before them. I will call you. I will guide you. I will strengthen you. I will place peace inside your spirit and confirmation around your path. But I will not drag you through the door against your will. Obedience still requires your response. Faith still requires movement. And that is why I keep speaking urgently to your heart tonight. Do not stall now that the answer has finally arrived before you. The enemy wants hesitation to return at this exact moment because he understands something you have not fully realized yet. He knows this door has the potential to change everything about your future. He knows what waits on the other side of your obedience. He knows your healing is connected to this movement. He knows your spiritual awakening is connected to this movement. He knows your peace, your restoration, your next season, and even the freedom of people connected to your future are attached to whether you finally trust me enough to walk forward now. That is why fear suddenly feels louder whenever breakthrough gets closer. The enemy whispers questions into your mind, hoping confusion will stop your movement. What if this fails too? What if you are disappointed again? What if you are not strong enough? What if you lose everything? But my beloved child, fear always speaks the loudest right before chains begin breaking. Fear rises whenever destiny approaches because darkness knows its grip weakens once obedience begins. Do not overthink the door I already confirmed. Do not analyze yourself back into captivity. Do not allow old disappointments to convince you that this moment will end the same way previous seasons ended. This is different because I am the one opening it. You prayed for movement during nights when tears soaked your pillow. You begged me for change during moments when hopelessness surrounded your thoughts. You cried out for freedom while carrying burdens too heavy for your heart to handle alone. And now that heaven has finally moved, now that the atmosphere around your life is shifting, now that chains are loosening and doors are opening, The worst thing you could do is remain standing still because fear feels safer than faith. My beloved child, you have spent enough years trapped in hesitation. You have already lost enough time questioning yourself. You have already watched enough opportunities pass by because doubt convinced you to wait longer. There comes a moment when delay itself becomes disobedience. There comes a moment when standing still becomes more dangerous than moving forward uncertainly with me. And this is that moment for your life. Right, I receive today's blessing in Jesus' powerful name if your faith is open to His gifts. And share this video.